Okay, counsel, I'm going to be setting this for trial. What is your time estimate and how many witnesses do you have?
Your Honor, my time estimate is approximately a day, and I intend on calling 2 witnesses. I will also be requiring a Mandarin interpreter.
Okay, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. I also think that that's appropriate for a time estimate. I'll also be calling 2 witnesses, and we'll also be requesting an interpreter.
Okay, well, you understand this is a trial, it's on a business interest, so the court's not going to be providing an interpreter for you. You will have to provide your own interpreters.
With all due respect, Your Honor, the Judicial Council has just implemented the Language Access Plan, which requires the courts to provide an interpreter.
Okay, well, I'm familiar with the language access plan. It's my understanding it's not yet in implementation, and I have no instructions that the court is going to be providing interpreters. So, as of right now, if you need a Mandarin interpreter, you're going to be bringing your own interpreters. Is there anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Well, with all due respect, Your Honor, I don't need an interpreter to tell me what that's supposed to mean. But you know, maybe she's right. Hi, can you see if Tracy Clark, our interpreting services manager, can come down and talk to me for a few minutes? Yes, it's about the language access plan. Thanks. Hi Tracy, I had you come in because I had an attorney tell me today that because of the language access plan, the court has to provide an interpreter in a civil case. Is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate. That is the goal of the language access plan. When it's completely implemented, the goal is that the state will be able to provide interpreters for any language in any courtroom at no cost to the parties and without regard to the income of the parties. But the language access plan was just passed January 22nd of this year, so it's very new. And the implementation of it has not been folded out. In fact, we're in the 1-year implementation planning year right now. So what we have in the meantime are some guidelines on how to start unfolding it out, and the state's given us 8 priorities that are to serve as a guide for which courts and which kinds of cases we serve first as this plan rolls out and we get consistent funding.
Okay, so there's 8 different priorities. Can you tell me what those priorities are?
Yeah, in fact, I brought them right here.
Okay.
The first priority is anything having to do with violence, domestic violence, civil harassment, adult elder abuse. The second one is unlawful detainers. The third is any action to terminate parental rights. The fourth are conservatorships and guardianships. The fifth is any actions by a parent to obtain sole legal or physical custody. The sixth is elder dependent abuse, which is financial, which is not physical. And the seventh is all other family law. That doesn't include one of the priorities already listed. And the last one is all other civil cases.
Okay, now there's nothing about criminal in here, so we already have to provide interpreters
Right.
for criminal cases, correct?
Criminals, yeah, those criminal courtrooms are mandated,
Okay.
and they are totally funded for both defendants and witnesses, basically what the court needs to make it go.
Okay, and of these 8 priorities, are we providing interpreters for all of them right now?
No, we're not,
Okay.
but we are providing for 4 already
Okay.
here in Ventura courts, and every court is unfolding this at a little different way. But for any kind of domestic violence, restraining orders, civil harassment, we do provide interpreters already, and for any unlawful detainer. And neither one of those require a fee waiver,
Okay.
but because the funds are meant to take care of people who cannot afford to hire their own interpreters first, they are the priority. Priority 3 through 8 all require that we get a fee waiver. And we do also provide for priority 3, which is any action to terminate parental rights, and priority 4, which are conservatorships and guardianships.
Okay, and after priority 4, we are not providing at this time for 5, 6, 7, or 8.
We are not, with the exception of 8. We do provide for small claims because our courts has a long history of acting cooperatively among courtrooms. So what we do is we pull interpreters, Spanish interpreters, for example, after they finish one courtroom early, we'll move them around and send them into small claims to cover. And other than Spanish languages, we'll work with the courts to schedule it on a day. We're bringing that language in for a criminal case that's already funded.
And then you also provide interpreters for sign language, correct?
Yes, for all of those. And
Okay.
that's because the sign language access is actually mandated under disability rights and the ADA. So that's covered in all courtrooms.
Okay. And now you mentioned that it's sort of in implementation phase right now. So what we're seeing right now is sort of leading up to that. It hasn't actually been decided how this plan is going to work in the long run.
We don't have a formal plan. We're just starting that because the last year was spent on creating the language access plan. So our implementation plan is what we're working on this year. So while we don't have a formal plan statewide on how it's gonna unfold, we do have our priorities of what we're looking at, and we're serving as many as we can during this interim period.
Okay, so if, right now, if my cases don't fall under priority 1, 2, 3, or 4, I'm not required under the language access plan to provide
You are not.
an interpreter.
That's
Okay.
right.
Well, I guess, with all due respect to the attorney, I guess I was right. So thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you coming in and explaining it.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah? Oh, the next case is ready? Okay, great. Oh, they brought a sign language interpreter for one of the witnesses. Well, I hope they're certified. I don't want a Mandela fiasco at this trial. All right, I'll be right there.
God of the spirits of all flesh, in whose hands are the souls of the living and the dead, receive, we beseech you, in your great loving kindness, the soul of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, who has been gathered unto his people. Remember him for the righteousness which he has done. Remember, O Lord, how he exemplified the finest qualities of your servant Joseph, about whose great leadership